Hi Magdalena, so another task one from you. Great. Let's get right into this and see what you had to say. Okay. The table of data illustrate the proportion of visitors in museums and galleries in England 1981, 91, and 1998. Unites are measured in millions. All right, let's change some things here. So don't call it a table of data, just call it a table. And then it should be the table illustrates they're not really proportions, it's actually numbers, isn't it? So the table illustrates the number of visitors in museums and galleries in England in 1990, 81, etc., etc. And you know what else? I always try to avoid having too many prepositional phrases here. So you've got of visitors, in museums, in England, in da-da-da, okay? So I would advise you to kind of simplify this so you don't have so many of these little structural words. There are tons of ways you could have done that. Let me see if I can come up with one really, really quickly. The table of data, not the table of data, we said already. The table illustrates the proportions of people visiting museums and galleries in England during the years 81, 91, and 98. Okay, I think I reduced them a little bit. Let's, oh, and by the way, you wrote unites, that's a verb, that's not what you want. You want units without the E. Overall, the amount of visitors in the British Museum, the National Gallery, and the Tate Gallery rose during the entire period, while the figures of visits in the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum showed a downward trend before increasing in the last given period. Moreover, a decline was noticed after both the National History Museum and the Science Museum began to charge for the entrance. Okay. Is this supposed to be your overview? Because if it is, it feels a little too detailed for me. Remember, the overview is just supposed to give the overall trend. Not going into really specifics or anything. One of the reasons I always find tables difficult is because it's sometimes hard to find an overall trend. But okay, let's see. More specifically, visits to the British Museum rose significantly from 2.6 million in 1981 to 5.1 million in 1991, and then again grew slightly by 0.5 to 5.6 million. No S after the word million here because you have a number in front of it. Similarly, the numbers of visitors to the National Gallery increased from 2.7 by 1.6 to 44.3 million in 91. However, during the next 7 years, it went up only by 0.5 to 4.8 million. Again, no S. Likewise, the same rising trend is seen in the Tate Gallery, where with an H here, visits went up from 0.9 million in the first year of the study to 2.2 million in the year 1998. In contrast, in the next two museums that are the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum, which introduced tickets after year 1981, the downward trend in the next 10 years was seen. The visits numbers in both museums, I don't know what that means. The number of visits, perhaps, in both museums were almost at the same level, 3.7 million and 3.8 million respectively. I'm a little confused. What are we talking about? Okay. Maybe you should have separated this paragraph. I mean, since you're spending a lot of time talking, like here, we start, I would have separated this. I mean, you know, in task one, paragraphing isn't super, super important, but I think sometimes it would have created more clarity if you had given this its own paragraph. Okay. By 1991, in these two places, visitors figures decreased to 1.6 million, 1.3 million, before they increased slightly by 0.3 million in both, in 1998. Or before they both increased slightly by 0.3 million in 1998. That would have worked as well. All right, well, the good news is that you've included all the information. Sometimes The way you expressed it wasn't always as clear as it could have been, but you included all the key information. Maybe it was a little too detailed. In fact, looking at it, it's a rather long task one. It's certainly over 150 words without even counting it. And I wonder how long this took you. Remember that you should aim for nothing more than 20 minutes for your task one. If you haven't timed yourself, I'd like you to do so. So again, some good elements here are some things that I want you to work on a little bit. So with that brings us to the end of this video correction. Lots of luck, and I hope to see more of your essays very soon.